Hello, well I'm taking a look at beach tractors and lifeboats in this film, and these are the rather rusty old tractors which you can see along the North Norfolk coast. These are at Cromer. They're often old Fords and Majors and they're used for pulling the boats in. And I just enjoy looking at them. They're rather rusty and rather decrepit, but they still all seem to work, and they still are used pretty well on a daily basis for hauling up fishing boats. They have winches on the back of them, and I always quite enjoy seeing how they've been adapted. The maintenance is pretty basic, I think, on most of these, but you can see here, rather a long way away, but you can see one in the seawater collecting a bit more rust, pulling a boat in. And they work very well. I mean, it's simple, effective and fairly cheap way of getting your boat back up the fairly flat beach. The other thing while we're here, we can see the lifeboat. And this is a rather impressive Tamer class lifeboat. Now, the lifeboats are funded by a voluntary organisation called the Royal National Lifeboat Institution. So the public make donations and keep the lifeboats afloat. And there are a lot of them around the UK coastline. And this one at Cromer is a particularly fine example. And we were lucky enough to see it being hauled back into its housing at the end of the pier. Again, rather a distant shot, but it gives you an idea of how this is getting hauled up. And they have a massive winch to haul these in. I mean, they do obviously weigh rather a lot, but they're very impressive bits of engineering. They're self-righting and they're very nicely made, go out in all sorts of conditions and rescue people in distress at sea, and actually can and do rescue quite large numbers. So that's the powerful winch, and here's some close-ups of the boat itself. And it's a fairly high-tech cabin full of electronics and all the latest navigational aids. And it goes out in winter in horrendous waves. They're terribly powerful engines to get through anywhere, and they rescue people. Now, Cromer was the home to Henry Blogg, who was awarded the George Cross, which is the highest civilian award in the UK. And he was a coxswain of the Cromer lifeboats and was the longest serving, most decorated Royal National Lifeboat Institution person ever. So quite a role model there. And in the museum they've got his boat, his original boat, the H.F. Bailey. And this boat was very active actually in the Second World War. And most of the lifeboat stations around the UK have these boards which show what sort of rescues they made. And they're always quite interesting to see. And this one being a wartime one, you have barrage balloons and aeroplanes being picked out to sea. But here's the boat. It's very different to the high-tech Tamar one we saw a minute ago, but rather nice. Lots of nice carpentry on that one. Very good woodwork indeed. And this model was quite good because it illustrated how the modern boats are self-righting, and they actually test them out. They right themselves. If they get blown over by a wave or knocked over by a wave, they right themselves within seconds. And there you can see the little model swinging back up again. Anyway, hope you enjoy seeing that one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.